It's extra innings here on Locked On Guardians. Before the season gets started, we're giving you a little bit extra content. MLB predictions, standings, awards, who's going to win the World Series.
You are Locked On Guardians, your daily podcast on the Cleveland Guardians. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back in, Guardians fans. If you tuned in to our Cleveland Guardians season prediction show on Wednesday, we have some more baseball to talk. It's not just Guardians, but it is Guardians related because we're going to pick every single division. We're going to pick every winner, all the awards. We're going to pick who's going to the playoffs. We're going to pick who's winning the World Series because Jeff and I have opinions, and because you're listening, you want to hear them, and Jeff and I want to give them. And more importantly, I think Jeff and I just like talking baseball together, and I would love to get our opinions on the record of who's going to win all the divisions, and look how stupid we are come September, right? That's what we always like to do, right?
It's always a fun time. The best part about making predictions is just how much they're going to blow up in your face.
Yeah. Do you remember, I believe it was 2024 when the Guardians made they won the division? And I know our show that year, the preseason show, we did our preview. We talked about would the Guardians finish last in home runs again, and we both said yes. And it got clipped into some highlight video at the end to mock everybody who was saying the Guardians would be terrible that year. I think people thought we were saying the Guardians would finish in last place in the division. And I think we were just saying they would finish last in home runs in 2024. Not they finished last in the division, but we ended up on the laugh track at the end of the year regardless. So that's okay. We'll take our lumps and we'll talk.
At the end of the day, we get more right and we get wrong, but we are far from perfect. We are going to get things wrong. I always find it funny when people are like, oh, they really believe in their takes, or they lecture. I'm like, isn't the point to have a strong take? And then when we're wrong, we're very quick to admit it. But I always find it funny when people are like, oh, Justin and Jeff, they're know-it-alls. Isn't the whole point of coming to listen to a daily podcast someone who uses their experience and knowledge? But I get so many things wrong. We all do. But I think I get more right than I get wrong in the end. And that's why you come here. So thank you for joining us on the show today and on our bonus content.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we do get more. I think I get more wrong than I get right, but I try to come at it from a reasoned angle.
We're always learning. We're always evolving. We're never trying to hide what we get wrong. When we're wrong, we state it. When we're right, we state it.
Yeah, and I'm not going to change my opinions based on what anybody says. Our opinions are our opinions. If you are listening to the bonus content, we are going to get into our predictions, but let you know the bonus content is also sponsored by MLB Show 26. If you haven't yet, use the code LOCKEDON at MLB.theshow/LockedOn. You get a free pack to use in Diamond Dynasty. And I've already done it. One of my buddies texted me the other day that he used the code, and he got a Cody Bellinger. I believe it was a silver, I want to say, out of it. It was a pretty good card. So he was pretty happy with that. So, there are good cards you can pull with that code. So go check it out. My
students are using it because they want to get more pools and more packs. So they're excited.
Yeah, I love doing the packs on Diamond Dynasty, honestly. It's a lot of fun. I did a little bit on Saturday night or Friday night last week. So, yeah, a lot of fun. All right, let's do some predictions here. So let's start with we're wrapping up post-production on the real episode, the main episode on Wednesday. Let's just start with the NL since we'll leave the AL Central for last. So everyone's got to tune in the whole way. My NL East, Jeff, is the Mets by far. I got the Phillies finishing second, winning a wild card, Braves, Nationals, and the Marlins. The Mets they look so good to me right now.
I got the Nationals. I'm kidding.
With who's starting opening day for the Nationals, Jeff? Tell me right now.
It's not Griff McGarry. I know that much. Is it like Parker Mitchell something? Don't they have a lefty?
I think it's Cade Cavalli.
Oh, Cade. Well, good one, Cade Cavalli. Isn't there? There was the interesting lefty guy they had, whose name I'm blanking on, that you can go ahead and yell at me. I'm still gonna go with the Phillies until it's not the Phillies. I mean, the Mets. they had their collapse, and then they traded off some of the players that didn't get along. There was definitely some butting of heads, it sounds like. We know through the years. It's just interesting because when Francisco Lindor, not Frankie, Francisco was here, he had no problems fitting in, getting along with everyone. But, issues with Jeff McNeil, issues with Brandon Nimmo, issues with everybody since he's gotten there. But I'm still going to go with the Phillies until they prove otherwise. I do like their rotation better as well. But I do think the Mets actually do get it together enough to get a wild card this year. I am a little concerned, though, that their big addition, with some of their losses, is Bo Bichette, who has not been the most consistent guy with help.
Yeah, I agree. Marcus Semien is definitely not as good as he used to be offensively, but he's still a pretty good defender. I think they have a very balanced team, though. And I love their rotation. They have what they got Freddie Peralta. They're gonna have Jonah Tong. They're going to have Nolan McClain.
Tong's not been looking as strong, I'll say.
Christian Scott. If they brought Scherzer back, I still like David Peterson.
No, Scherzer is with the Blue Jays.
You're right, not Scherzer. Sorry, yeah. So they still should be pretty good.
Yeah.
NL Central, I'm going to say the Cubs. I think the Cubs are too good for anybody else to surpass them in that division. But my surprise, Jeff, the second team in that division, I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Pirates. I think the Pirates are second in the NL Central, and they're going to win a wild card spot. I have them, the Reds, the Brewers, and the Cardinals all missing the playoffs. Don't tell Jeff Carr. And I know the Brewers not making the playoffs seems crazy, but they traded Freddie Peralta, and I don't know who's going to pitch for them. And I just don't know.
No, see, I still have the Brewers winning. Peralta, all they do is they're the best at pitching development of any team in baseball. They don't get the credit for it, but I think the Mets wanted Tobias Myers because of what the Brewers did. They've got young arms. They got guys coming up. They got guys they're working with. Adding Jet Williams in, who I think is going to come up and just give them another, I think he's an upgrade over Isaac Hollins or Durbin a year ago. So I still think it's them, especially because that Cubs team's pretty beat up right now. But I have the Cubs with one of the other wild card spots. I know I'm being so chalky from a year ago. It's disgusting, but I think the Brewers are still the team to beat until they're not. They've got most of their pieces still there, and they've got some young prospects. And the wave, they could have so many guys hit this year for them. And if they are in competition and decide to go for it, they're going to have pieces to trade as well and still have tons of depth. So I still think it's the Brewers to lose.
I don't disagree with you in logic.
And I am not buying the Pirates at all. Not at all. That is a loser organization. That is an organization that has not made any positive momentum. They signed 4 free agents. That's great. It's still a loser organization that can't put anything together consistently. Nothing the players are losers. I'm just saying that org, and Ben Cherington's been kind of a disaster as a GM as well, everywhere he's gone. So I also don't trust him as getting everything right. There's a lot of ways. It feels like every year a small market team decides to buy the offseason hype and then fall in their face. So I'm predicting Pittsburgh finishes last in that division again.
All right, I could be very wrong.
I understand why you are. I'm not dinging you, but I'm dinging that organization in general.
No,
beautiful stadium, great fans. I feel sorry for them.
Beautiful stadium. Yeah,
it's one of the best stadiums in baseball. But I
is
not a believer in what they're doing.
I don't think your logic's wrong. I think my thinking is just.
It'd be a great story. I hope you're right. I want you
Jared
to be
Jones. Right. Yeah, I mean Connor Griffin comes up. I like the addition of Brandon Lau. I don't know how good Ryan O'Hearn's going to be, but
just Lau talk about health issues. You're hoping for 80 games as well.
But right? he's played hundreds of games in a season before.
He has, but has it happened recently?
Yeah.
I haven't paid enough attention. I could.
Yeah, he did last year. He had a good year last year. Okay, I'm going to go to the West. I mean, shocking, right? The Dodgers are going to win the West. I mean, is there anything that convince you the Dodgers will not win the West? I'd more likely believe that we're going to be hit by a volcano tomorrow.
Or at least a meteor.
No, that's believable. That's believable.
I don't know. Now that you've had one, I think you have a better chance of a volcano happening, a super volcano, than another meteor hitting so quickly.
That's true. You're not wrong.
Just general odds. But, yeah, I agree with you. The Dodgers.
I don't know how you can pick against the Dodgers. That's crazy, right? Padres second. They won a wild card. I have the Giants, Diamondbacks, then of course the Rockies coming up in the rear.
I'm gonna put the Giants in and the Padres out.
And really? Okay.
The Padres have no depth at all. they're running out of pieces to trade, and their lineup's got some big question marks because they, have had to let guys walk. So I don't. They have some great players. Tatis is a ton of fun. I'm thinking Jackson Merrill has a better year than a year ago, but man, there's just a lot of gaps and no way for them to fill them.
You're not wrong. Again, I'm not disagreeing with any of the logic you have on any of this, but I think there's still a lot of talent on that team. I just don't think that I don't think the Giants are good enough to catch them.
Yeah, I was tempted, honestly, instead of the Giants to go with another team from another division. But I don't know. I decided to go with the Giants, throw some their way. I mean, if I'm really probably honest with myself, I'd probably throw it to someone like the Braves. I'll say the Braves instead. I think the Braves will figure it out even with all their injuries. So I'll say the Braves with the final spot.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you there. NL awards for me, I've got Ohtani as the MVP because, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
How can you go against Ohtani? Actually, let's quickly we'll get to the awards here in a second. We do have to pay the bills, as it were, a little bit on here. So we'll get to the awards. We'll get to the AL here in just a second. We do got to pay a couple of bills on this episode. Bonus content of Locked On Guardians. Imagine if you could trade sports like markets. Now you can put your sports IQ to work in real time with Robinhood prediction markets. It's not you against the house. It's you participating in a live market. So you can buy or sell your positions live all game long. Use your sports knowledge in the moments that actually matter. Robinhood prediction markets changes the game. It's people that are moving the action. So when the momentum shift is in the game, you can shift with it. I always feel like I knew the game, right? But how are you going to apply that dynamic knowledge, right? It's hard to do. So I can actually take part live now in a market that's powered by people. You're no longer just a spectator in the game. Play by play, you get to decide. Trade every play with Robinhood, now available across the U.S. Download the Robinhood app now today. To begin, futures and cleared swaps involve significant risk, and it's not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm. You can tell this is a less scripted version of the show as we're rolling around here in some bonus content and we're getting ready for the next episode to premiere. And so I said Ohtani as the MVP.
No debate here. I don't have anything to add.
I don't know who you could pick. You'd have to get hurt.
Or fatigue, like extreme fatigue, like where Trout could have pretty much won it every year, but there was debate. It's like,
but even then, Trout wasn't pitching and hitting.
Yeah, and
that's the big separator. Like, he just does so much.
And this is where people get mad at me, where my memory fades every year more and more. Who was the runner-up last year? Like, I know the American League race was super tough. You had two great candidates, but like, who was it outside of Ohtani last year?
Yeah, your guess is as good as mine. Yeah, I don't know. I should know that, but I don't.
Okay, I don't feel as bad then. Schwarber is that what I'm seeing here? No. Schwarber had the second most votes. It was Schwarber then Soto. And the problem is, like, wow. I mean, those are basically two DHs. And then Perdomo was 4 and Trey Turner 5. Maybe a healthy Corbin Carroll can be like the fallback if Arizona goes for a huge run.
Because he can be a 40-40 guy. Yeah, I just don't know how
he doesn't have, like, with Judge and Raleigh and even Jose, like in the other league, like Jose and Bobby Witt, like Tarik Skubal, like the American League has a much tougher group. Like the high end is much higher there.
Yeah. Are you picking against Paul Skenes for NL Cy Young? Because I'm not. I'm picking Paul Skenes all the way.
I do like Christopher Sanchez a lot. But I just don't see how you can pick anyone other than Skenes.
Yeah, he's just too good. This will be fun. I don't know if you have a rookie of the year, Jeff, because I know sometimes we do this and you're like, I don't know who all the rookies are. I can't tell. But I think you know who I'm going to go with. Can you predict who I'm going with as rookie of the year in the NL? I think you know.
Trying to think who your crushes are.
Oh, come on. You know my NL prospect crush. He is basically the Cal Steven of the NL for me. He's not a pitcher though.
Why can I not think? I'm going to blame my mix of a head cold and
he was a pitcher at one time, not in the majors. He was a pitcher at one time.
I'm going to blame I accidentally broke something before we started our first show, and my head cold. I can't think who this is.
Carson Benge.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You do know I love Carson Benge.
No, you do love Carson Benge. Yeah, that now that you say it, I'm like totally.
Yeah, that's my NL Rookie of the Year this year. Do you have one?
Yeah, I think it'll be Wetherholt. I would lean into him. He's going to stuff a box. He's going to do a lot of things. The better runner than Bazana. That was the one thing that really stood out. And he was an all green guy, just like Bazana was, and Condon was as well. Those three guys were all green across every batted ball metric. So I'm going to go with Wetherholt. I think he'll get to double-digit home runs, double-digit steals, hit for average. Because it's always hard for pitchers, right? Nolan McLean's probably the big name right now, but it's just hard for pitchers to get into that spot.
It is. NL, what did you? So you picked Wetherholt. I have the NL Manager of the Year, Don Kelly, because I think if the Pirates do make the playoffs, that's got to be Don Kelly.
No, yeah, I mean 100%. If they make it, he's the guy. Whatever scrappy team comes close.
Fair enough.
Who's managing the Marlins? They're kind of an under the radar darling for people.
Who is the Marlins?
Oh, it's the guy from the Dodgers, Clayton something, right?
Clayton McCullough, who was very close to being the Guardians manager.
Yeah, I'll say him. I'll say the Marlins are very scrappy again.
For our purposes, Jeff, you can grab whatever stuff you need for the original.
Okay. Yep. I will do that right now.
All right. AL East. We'll move over to the AL East. I've got the Blue Jays winning the division again. I've got the Yankees finishing in second again as a wild card team. I have the Baltimore Orioles finishing third in that division. I have them winning a second wild card. I have the Red Sox and Rays. I mean, it's so hard to go back to back with the Blue Jays. Have to. You get that World Series hangover. I worry about that, but I think that the Blue Jays are a pretty deep team.
Yeah, and they just kind of add it. They lost Bichette, but as I talked about earlier, it's Bichette's great. I mean, he's had down years even when he's healthy. He has not been this. I don't know. The story around him is kind of interesting because I just see a lot of people acting like he's a star, and I'm I'm not even sure he is. There's he's an excellent player. He's had some high highs. But yeah, I would just say that there is, I feel like they did a lot of interesting things to improve with Cease and with the third baseman / first baseman from Japan and some other players, even adding Jesse Sanchez to give them more depth. I still believe in them. And then, the Yankees too. And then I think Boston got worse losing Bregman. I know they pivoted to pitching and did some other things, but I still feel like that infield is kind of a mess. So I'm only going to have two teams from that division.
Yeah, I like the Orioles, what they did. I like the Orioles. I think they have a nice rotation. I think that Shane Baz, Chris Bassett is going to help them out a ton in that rotation. It's not going to be a sexy rotation, but it's going to be very, very solid, I think. And I think there's a lot of guys. I think that
bullpen is still.
Yeah,
I know they added Ryan Helsley and Cano is back, and they've got a few other guys, and they're offensively, it's a really interesting team, but they're also counting on a lot of guys kind of stepping forward and being better than a year ago. I'm not quite as sold on them right now. They've got some injuries as well, so I'm going to go with two.
They do. Okay, fair enough. Let's do the AL Central last. Let's go to the AL West. This might be a spicy take. The only team I have making the playoffs in the AL West is the Mariners. They repeat as division champs. The Rangers did add pitching in the offseason, I know. And the Astros, I do like Tetsuya Amai, but I don't think their offense is any better. And the Athletics, their lineup's great, but they don't have any pitching yet. I think they're still a year away, and then the Angels are still the Angels. So I think that's an easy one. But I don't have a second playoff team in the West.
No, I've only got the Mariners there as well.
I'm
just going to give you a quick show note. Go look at Stephen Kwan's name in your current show notes.
Oh God.
I only have the Mariners out there as well. So that's a giveaway that I got three teams in the Central, much like a few years ago.
I do as well, but you'll have to come back on the other side of this episode to find out. Tournament is here. It's a frustrating time of year, but it's a fun one too. Back brackets, buzzer beaters, upsets, nonstop actions that are from opening tip to the final cut down of the net. FanDuel, if you're a new customer, you can stay on the action all tournament long. You can get $300 in bonus bets every day for 10 days. That means 10 chances to stay involved throughout the tournament. So you can mix it up however you want. You can do any game picks. You can check out the futures if that's still going on. Same game parlays. Get yourself some bigger potential payouts. If your bracket's busted like mine, it's a good way to get reinvested into the tournament. And you don't have to be frustrated with saying, I'm going to throw my bracket away. You can go out there and do some additional fun stuff with your bracket or your picks if you love college basketball. And it's a lot of fun. So visit FanDuel.com to sign up today. It's FanDuel.com to get in on the tournament action. If you're here, I probably would guess you're a member of the Everydayer Club already. But if you're not, come check it out. You know, I'm the last few minutes I've actually been in there chatting with John Frisch, the host of the Angels. We've been talking about fantasy baseball a little bit because I was showing him my auction league with my buddies that we've been doing for, I think, God, this is 15 years now. We've been doing in-person draft for 13 years. I was just telling him how auction leagues work and how all my friends and I get together for an in-person draft. It takes about 8 hours every year. And everybody says it's the best day of the year. So we all enjoy it. And we chat about things like that in the Everydayer Club over on Discord, and as well as the Guardians Discord, every game, every bit of news. And you also get ad-free versions of the show as well if you're into that sort of thing. So that's in the show notes. And you can also check out Supercast. Was it Lockdown Guardians? I don't even know my own show notes at this point. Geez, it's pretty bad because we're doing 5 things at once here. Supercast.com/Lockdown Guardians. So I'm still getting to Jeff's production note that I have not checked out yet because I have been too busy doing ad reads and checking out other things. All right, AL Central, Jeff. Interesting spelling for Stephen Kwan. Yes, you are right. That is interesting. I have the Tigers. We talked about this in the regular version of the show, but Tigers win the Central. Guardians, I think, finish second, and they claim a wild card spot. I have been saying I think the Royals can make the playoffs too, but I kind of like the Orioles a little better because I think their pitching rotation is just a little more rock solid, and their lineup's good. It's a tough division, but the Royals third, Twins fourth, White Sox fifth. You're on mute, so I guess you don't care who wins the Central.
So are you saying you're taking the Royals or the Orioles rotation?
I'm taking the Orioles rotation.
Oh, no. See, I definitely take the Royals rotation every day of the week. That's where we disagree. So that's why I'm going to have Cleveland second, Kansas City third, Tigers obviously winning it, but I'm going to have Kansas City and Cleveland in the postseason because I really like that Royals rotation. I like it a lot. I think it could compete for the top in the division just because top to bottom, when Raggins is on, when Lugo's on, what Bubic did a year ago, like it's a really good 1, 2, 3. I really like what the Royals have.
I think there's just more variance. I think
there's a ton more variance. And then Waka is one of those guys that has been surprisingly stellar. Like he's just so reliable. It's like a 4-5. And then Noah Cameron was really good last year. And they've got some nice depth. So I just kind of like what they have. And I like their bullpen a lot too with Ursig, and adding Matt Strahm is underrated. And Carlos Estevez is just kind of solid. The lineup has they're just kind of solidly put together. Like I wouldn't be shocked if they ended up second in the division either. But I do think Cleveland and Kansas City can be playoff teams.
I agree with that. All right, so that's our division picks. Let's go to awards. It'd be so easy to go chalk and say Aaron Judge wins the MVP again, right? And I don't know if I'm doing this for the sake of being different, but I don't know. I think Bobby Witt's going to win one day. I wish I could say Jose Ramirez, but I just don't ever believe they're going to give him the votes he deserves. So I'm going to say Bobby Witt just because he's a shortstop. You get more value. So one of these years, Bobby Witt's going to win one. Why not 2026?
I'm going to say the one thing I'll say that could I'm going to say Judge, but the one thing that could count against him is he kind of didn't show up in the World Baseball Classic in big moments, and that's going to continue to dog him until he's basically turned into A-Rod, where if you're old enough to remember, it's like A-Rod was the best player in baseball. We can save the steroids talk for another day, but for most of his career, he was known for not hitting in the postseason until he finally did it. Now Judge has been carrying that can't play well in the postseason, didn't play well at the stage of the big games in the W Baseball Classic, the World Baseball Classic.
So much you hate it. You can't use its real name. Okay.
So, clearly the Yankees should just trade him to Cleveland and pay his full salary because he's not any good. I still think it's going to be Judge. Cal Raleigh had a great year. I just can't see him replicating anything close to that. So much wear and tear on a catcher body. But I agree. Bobby Witt would be my second pick.
Yeah. A three-peat for Tarik Skubal as Cy Young, because I'm also going to try to go off the board, and I'm going to say Garrett Crochet.
No, I'm going to go Skubal. He's the best pitcher on the planet.
He is. I guess I hate to say that I'm doing this to be contrarian. I'm just doing it from the standpoint.
I'm the one who always gets accused of being the contrarian. What are you doing?
I know. I'm just doing it because I feel like it's so hard to repeat these awards and these winnings every year. 3 years in a row as Cy Young, that's really hard to do, man. And Garrett Crochet is really good. It's not that I don't think Skubal can do it. I just think it's really hard to do it 3 years in a row.
He's in his walk year too. He's going to be out there setting records
they're going to ride him hard because
put him away wet.
So you might as well say thanks for your service, and you can take your noodle arm elsewhere when you're done with us. Yeah. Rookie of the year, I went Kevin McGonigle. I know that's not going to be popular with our listener group, but it makes sense. He's got the most hype, and that stuff matters because there's a lot of voters who vote for these awards who don't pay attention. Unfortunately, that's still a thing we see. There's always some weird variance. You're like, what are you doing? So hype matters, and he's got the hype. So I'm with you. Manager of the year. If the Orioles make the playoffs, I think it's going to be Craig Alvarez. I think that's it goes the same thinking as the Pirates. Don Kelly, so I'll go Craig Alvarez. So we get to Stephen Vogt's best friend gets the Win Manager of the Year award. Does that count as Stephen Vogt's win?
I guess I'm going with Matt Katara then, because then the Royals go from, since he was a candidate last time they made the postseason, then they were really bad and they get a really nice pick, and now they're back up again. So it's a variance of baseball. It
is. So my AL pennant winner. I know again this is very hard to do, and they don't have the team that the Dodgers do, but I say the Mariners go back to the World Series. I like the addition of Brendan Donovan. I think it's a great complimentary piece.
No, it's the Blue Jays. They wouldn't be repeating. It was the Blue Jays last year.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. You're right. You're right. It's not. But I do either way. I like the Mariners. I like adding Brendan Donovan. I like the Rob Refsnyder addition. I think that they have a great farm system. Obviously, they have a great rotation. They have a good farm system that they can promote guys up to the big league level, and they can make trades if they need to. So I think they have a good recipe for getting to the World Series this year.
Well, I have the same, so it's not very fun. Okay. But it's for the Blue Jays to get there a year ago, they had to have Ernie Clement have a historic season. They are a better team. I think they could easily make it back. I think it's Blue Jays Mariners is really the way to go, but I'm gonna go with the Mariners because it's fantastic pitching. I think the lineup is better with Donovan over Polanco, and the most important piece is what you just talked about there. That if they want to go out and get the biggest piece of the deadline, they've got guys like Colt Emerson that if they're, it's a risk to sell a guy like him, but if they're sold on Cole Young and they feel like they've got other places together, they can make a package to go out and get just about anyone. They've got the pieces and parts, and they have a GM who loves to make trades. So I'm going to go with the Mariners. They're a team.
And the only guy they won't trade is Ryan Sloan. That's everybody else I think is on the table.
And I don't blame him for that. Sloan was my number one pitcher in that prep class, and he's done nothing to change that opinion.
No, he's not. No. My World Series winner, though, I'm going with the Mets. I think I like the balance of that team. They improved their defense. They improved the clubhouse chemistry. I think the pitching will come together. I think it's just a really well-balanced team, and they're also going to have the pieces and the funds to go out and make trades at the deadline, too. I think they're just a very well-balanced team. So the Mets win the World Series.
No, I got the Dodgers. I mean, it's the same team, and then they added Kyle Tucker and Edwin Diaz, and they've got the pieces, the parts, the money. They don't have to pay as much in TV revenue as other teams. They just got a ridiculous amount of money for their naming rights to their field, so they can go out and add anyone they want. And they'll be, they can look to trade River Ryan for the 2 weeks that he's healthy this year to get the best piece of the deadline. So it's just, it's a broken system, and it sucks. Like, there's no way around it. But like, we're talking about the Mets and the Dodgers. It's like, oh, what do those teams have in common? Like, billionaire owners who don't care. And as much as people have to be like, oh, I know there's some comments. Dolan is not a billionaire. Your cousin's money is not your money. Like, I don't know how many times I have to say that. Like, that is one of those Zach has stated, if you're just like, and we get accused of being homers, we get accused of being, Zach has stated that repeatedly as well. It's not just us, it's Zach, who everyone trusts and everyone backs, has made that point multiple times himself, that like, that is not what he is worth. Like, he made his money. He has some of the Dolan fortune, but it's not tied to the Cablevision money. You're correct. My cousin's money is not my money. Your cousin's money isn't your money. That Cablevision money is not
unless you have a really great cousin. Which
and he sold, and that was the other thing too, is like, he sold out of his share of Cablevision to buy this team. Like, the part that was his, he basically gave up that money to buy this team back in the day. So now all that's, they have no flexibility. They have no, what Justin has pointed out very well throughout multiple recordings this offseason, is part of the problem when you don't have another business income stream, is all of your money has to come from the team, which means they can never afford to take a loss. Like, we've heard them say they've taken a loss. I'll still believe it when I see that. Maybe in those COVID years, but I doubt that. Yeah. But they can't afford to take losses because there's no other income streams. And I mean, and for another day, but I also don't see how a guy who owns 8 teams can afford for any of them to take a loss. So I don't see any changes coming in the future. Unfortunately, that's why the game has to change, because it's broken.
I always pick the Mets, to be honest with you, is because I think it's the same thing. My arguments with like Judge and Skubal is three-peats are hard. They're just very hard, and baseball's random. Things could happen. I know they added Tucker and Diaz, but like, three-peats are hard, and baseball's random. So I think that's enough for me to at least go with the field instead of the Dodgers. But
fair enough.
All right. Well, this went longer than we thought it was going to. We didn't think we would get a whole.
Supposed to be a 10-minute episode, but of course we're long-winded.
Yeah. So here it is. So there you go. So enjoy that, and Insiders will chat on Wednesday night during the fantasy draft, and then Jeff will be with you for a solo show, and then I'll be up late with you on Thursday night. I don't know what I'm thinking, but we're gonna do it if it's going good.
I've got conferences both days, so I'll be zonked, but you'll have fun. I'm gonna try to catch as much of the game as I can. Thank you all for joining us. Rate and review. I hope you enjoyed the bonus episode, and go Guardians, go.